All conversations and information exchanged during What If Nothing's Wrong podcast with Heidi Haddad, LCSW, are intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please do not confuse this with treatment, therapy, or psychotherapeutic advice or guidance. The information on these podcasts is supplemental and not meant to interfere with the therapeutic work between you and your professional therapist, counselor, or psychiatrist. Please understand that Heidi Haddad does not maintain the role of your psychotherapist, but rather offers an educated, professional perspective from that of a licensed clinical social worker.
When your anxiety is crippling and you're stuck inside your head, find your joy, find your joy. When your man won't touch you but you wanna have a baby, find your joy, find your joy. When you're walking down the street and you get punched in the face, find your joy, find your joy. When you wanna fire a bazooka at your neighbor's barking dog, find your joy, find your joy. Find your joy, find
Yeah, you're good.
Yes.
your joy.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to What If Nothing's Wrong, the podcast that asks the question, what if nothing's wrong? Heidi was about to spit take and she stopped. She stopped
I'm
drinking.
just, this bottle is making it drip down my face.
So I'm here, as always, with Ronnie, Whaley, and Heidi. Hey, Hey guys.
Hello.
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 Hi.
Hello.
All right, let's take.
Ronnie never.
this
He
is-
will never pipe in with a hello. He's
I don't
not
think
ever
we
going to
should.
be part.
I'm gonna bring this up.
Did you
Nobody
see
can
Kitty?
see that. Ronnie
What
has
are we-
just
what are you
brought
looking at?
in
What are
the
you looking at?
teeniest, tiniest kitten.
Oh my goodness! So
Whose
what's
name
the,
is-
What's the
We don't
baby's
have.
name?
I don't have a name yet. I've been like
Oh.
figuring out
Teeny.
a name.
Well, okay, maybe our listeners can
TT.
suggest a name
It's a
for this
Persian.
little fluffy
Persian.
angel. Is
Yeah.
it a
Oh
purebred?
my God.
It is.
So
It's a.
Wow.
Actually, it's not. It's Munchkin Persian with regular Persian. So that's a mixed.
Ugh,
Here's the
just
Munchkin.
some mongrel.
Munch. That's his
Oh
name.
my
This is a
goodness!
Munchkin.
That,
I was
This is a-
I
this
thought
is
that
an
was the
adult.
same cat, and I was thinking, oh my God, that's perspective. This cat's huge.
and
But
different
this
colors.
is an adult. This is an adult, and it,
Oh
it
my
looks small,
goodness.
right? Look at it.
Yeah.
It's small.
Do you guys
All right.
only Ronnie?
She
Do
is
you
like-
are you guys only Persian people? You only like Persian
I don't know about
cats?
No, we well right now we have a lot of Persians, but we have two rescues and then we have a Maine Coon. We just got
Oh.
and
I have a
those
Maine
things are
Coon,
huge.
too.
Really?
Ronnie, how many
No.
cats do you have?
10 cats right now. Yeah,
Okay, how big is
4
your house?
kittens. It's not that big.
So just delicious purring angels around you at all time.
Yeah, like I can just go into my living room and just like wave my arms around and I'll touch like 5 cats. You know, that's what I do.
And
sometimes.
how many
Seems
dogs?
so unappealing to me.
3 pugs.
God,
Yeah.
do you live on a farm?
No, but we
You should.
should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
birds. So the birds are for the cats, and then the dogs. The cats are for the dogs. So they all entertain each other.
So the next thing you're going to get is little insects for the birds. You're just going to get little pet ladybugs.
Well, the birds, we just get the mirrors. So we stop it right there. Stop
Right,
it right there. The circle stops. You know.
Right, because they're like, oh, look at me. Woo-hoo.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm pretty.
Yeah.
So that was a little kitty cat break we had there.
And
That
the
was
cat's
lovely.
thinking, could you stop looking yourself in the mirror? Look at me. Look at me.
Yeah.
I will
Exactly.
take
You're here
you
for me.
down, you little feathery bitch.
And the
I will
dogs are
take
like-
you down.
I'm gonna eat all of you motherfuckers. You know. So that's
Yeah.
that's the ecosystem of my house right now.
That's
so,
the circle of life. The
Yeah,
circle
it works
of
out
life
pretty well.
in Ronnie's house, in the Whaley household. Wow. What's up, guys? What's the latest? We doing last night on Twitter?
I'd love to. Thanks for asking.
Okay. All
Love
right.
it when she puts on her broadcast voice. Thanks for asking, Nelsie.
Thank you for tuning in. Tonight, I'd like to talk about how to deal with a toxic parent
Oh,
Oh.
that's a good one.
or toxic family. I get a lot of messages from people who want to know how to deal with their toxic family. or partner. Not so much partner, actually, parents or siblings. Do either of you have any experience with that? Do you have any experience with that?
She chuckled knowingly. Ronnie, you go. You go. Toxic.
Toxic family or
I
toxic?
said no because my family is perfect.
Oh no.
Perfect.
Perfect. Oh, that was so good, Heidi. I appreciate your little quips. I'm losing. This is the episode where I lose it. It's all over now.
Well, last week was the episode where I lost it, so it's your turn.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
Heidi will be next week. Yeah, yeah.
I'm scared for that one.
Should be.
You're gonna wake up tomorrow with a horse's head in your bed.
All the way from New York to the Philippines.
Yeah, my family's pretty good. I mean, like, we're obviously not perfect, but I have sibling issues. I also have had toxic relationships with that's more common for me, is a toxic relationship. Something about that,
like with a friend or a
which is interesting,
partner. Or a girlfriend,
because usually people are in relationship with that with whom is familiar.
You think so?
With that, that which is familiar.
That which is familiar.
Yes, that's what all the therapists say.
Do you say that?
That's a pretty real thing, though, Ronnie, because what happens, I think, what's happened for me is that you have these familial relationships that feel, even though they might feel shitty, there's some comfort in them because they're familiar. So you,
for sure,
you recreate that dynamic in a partner. So you create your home life dynamic in a partner
in order to conceptually or theoretically move through it, make a change, do it differently because you didn't have the power to do that in your family relationship. So it's mostly subconscious. It's not something that we are aware of. I'm going to go out with that person who's passive aggressive because it reminds me of my mother. It's more, you're in it. You're trying to navigate
fix the problem through that relationship.
Sometimes it's just to what Nelsie's saying. It's just comfortable. So it's like an old couch.
Their puzzle piece fits your puzzle piece in some way.
I feel like I resonate more with that in my past experience. I feel like with my relationships with exes is that I've always tried to replicate what my parents have currently. So a lot of my exes were like Filipino women. And that my mom's Filipino.
There you go. There you go.
So that makes a lot of sense, and I always picture them getting along because of that. But also they're all different people. So
meaning
it's not like
different,
I can,
there's not a certain type.
Yeah, they're all individuals. Yeah. Yeah, like I totally get it. Like sometimes shit happens, man.
But wow,
what just happened there?
That's really was profound there, Ronnie.
To explore that is there's something weird about like toxicity and addictiveness to it.
There's something weird?
Yeah, because you shouldn't be addicted to that if it is toxic or it is damaging to you.
Can we just define toxicity for a second? And I want to put some things out there that I think of when I think of what toxicity is in a person. Abusive, super critical, doesn't contribute to bringing joy to the room or the energy or the person, anybody else around.
You're talking about a person though.
Right, a toxic relationship. But
there's the dynamic. There's the toxic dynamic, right? Like maybe that person isn't.
You're right.
Yeah, right.
Maybe it's the person's not doing anything, but the way that the two people are engaging together creates a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Yeah,
exactly. 100%.
Also that. And part of that sometimes, not that. Yes, that's another one. And another one that I could think of is boundarylessness. You talk to this person, whoever the person is, asking for something, and that ask isn't respected or heard. Yeah. Not being able to communicate with someone when that relationship feels painful to you and you want to be able to say, this feels painful to me. Can we do something different? And it's not heard.
So not being heard, not being seen.
I'm open to other examples. Those are just the top ones that I was throwing out there of what I consider a toxic relationship, environment. Okay, I think I've covered it all.
I think you covered it.
Both of you are just like,
I think you've covered it all. I don't have anything else because I think that, if somebody is verbally abusive, physically abusive, if somebody, and I would say that being highly critical can fall under that category of being verbally abusive. If somebody doesn't hear you, if somebody doesn't respect a boundary, if somebody isn't willing to work on the relationship or try to fill your needs, right?
You're just repeating everything I said.
I think what she's trying to say is like,
do you have anything else?
I was just gonna repeat it too.
Okay, let's all repeat it right now
relationships.
Okay, so we're covered with what a toxic relationship is.
We got it.
What do you do? That's the question I get. What do I do? I'm not ready to get out of that relationship. I'm not ready to, especially, I think partner relationships is another level because it can feel like another level. You could get out of that relationship theoretically, or once you do, and that's the end of that relationship. Most of what these people are asking about are about family members.
Yeah.
Where there's that conflict between, it makes it complicated because it's toxic, but they're your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, and you don't feel you can say goodbye or cut the cord or want to say goodbye and cut the cord, but just want the relationship to be vastly different than it is. And they're looking for guidance in how do I do? What do I do? How do I handle myself?
It's so funny because I was just watching Jeffrey Marsh on, I don't know, TikTok or Instagram, and they were talking exactly this subject because I think a lot of kids, a lot of people in the LGBTQ community ask this question. They feel that their relationship with their parents or their siblings is toxic because they are, non-binary or whatever, and they don't feel accepted. And what they said was like, Jeffrey Marsh did it, from what I understand. And it's this whole thing of feeling like it's so mean to cut off a parent or a sibling, to say, guess what? I'm not going to have contact with you anymore. But there are different levels of like, oh, I'm not going to talk to you anymore, or I'm going to talk to you, but if the conversation goes in a certain direction, I'm going to hang up.
I think a lot of people don't feel that they have the permission to do that. That they don't. Oftentimes when I'm talking to clients, I say just what you just said. If you're on the phone with someone and they're saying things that don't feel good to you, your mother, your father, say, this doesn't feel good to me, and hang up the phone. And it seems so simple. The suggestion is so simple, and the idea is actually quite simple, but it's not the reaction to that is just hang up. What do you mean? But that might make the whole thing worse. And that's the other piece is fear of blowing up the family relationship, fear that's what will happen. Mm-hmm. And also what I offer is that it will create a reaction. If you do something different, if you start dancing a different dance that everyone is used to, there's a particular dance that everybody does. And if somebody that is, Nelsie just danced in a dance that you don't want to meet on the dance floor.
Oh, I will meet you on the dance floor, miss. I will meet you on the dance floor.
I don't know if anybody wants to meet you. That's what I'm saying. I know you'll meet them.
Oh, you're gonna eat those words. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna be at the club, and Nelsie's gonna come up behind me.
We're gonna have a dance off.
Yeah, I'll be at the bar.
See that? You see that?
First of all, that's an accurate image across the board. Nelsie and Heidi on the Nelsie approaching Heidi on the dance floor. Heidi going, what? And then doing it. And Ronnie at the bar like this, just like doing shots or like has an IV.
I don't know them.
And his internal monologue is, I hate my life. I hate my life. How did this happen?
I didn't invite them.
In terms of toxic relationships and parents, I didn't talk to my father for the last 7 years of his life. So but it was kind of easy because I was an adult and I lived in New York and he wasn't calling me. And he lived in the high desert of Mexico where he didn't have a phone. So but he came to my wedding. So, and that was when we
But
were still
aside from
talking to
all
each
of
other.
that, I made the choice to not talk to that guy.
Yeah. So I think that when it gets really bad, sometimes you have to make a big choice to just cut it off.
I don't think you need to go that dramatically. Not everybody needs to just cut it off. There are, Nelsie, I imagine that you went through a plethora and a series of tiny actions throughout your life before you got to a point of theoretically cutting it off. Also, there were a lot of circumstances that made that easier, but still.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes it is just being able to say on the phone, when you're talking to a parent and a parent says, "What are you doing?" And just say, or I'm going to do XYZ, and they're on the phone. That could be a 20-something-year-old, and the parent criticizes it in some way. You could just say, "That doesn't feel good. I'm going to go. Bye." And that in and of itself is super hard. I've heard people talk about it being hard just to not even engage with the conversation.
Yeah.
Just so hard to stay quiet and not engage with why are you making that choice in your life? I mean, I guess that's a direct question. It's hard to ignore with it casually, but there's an example I'm thinking of. But
yeah, I know that is difficult. But I love what you said, Heidi, the idea of like, that didn't feel good. I'm going to go. Like, and the nice thing about being on the phone is you can go, that didn't feel good. I'm going to go, and like feel really but they're not seeing you. You can sound really confident even when you might be cringing or whatever. And that thing of keeping it simple is brave, because I think I know for me, when I'm trying to create a boundary or say something that's hard, all that over talking happens,
which is self-care, right? Because we do not give ourselves permission to take care of ourselves and think it's okay to just take care of ourselves, whatever that may look like. So there's a lot of, I'm sorry, maybe it's, how can I take care of you?
Yes.
In a situation where I don't feel cared for. That's the immediate deal. It's not just, you know what, I'm out, peace. Because if you were that person, you wouldn't be in the toxic relationship. So you have to do it incrementally. You have to, you can cut it off completely, but if that's too hard, and also this is what I was going to say about the dance. We got sidetracked with the dance, is that every family, every group of people, including the three of us, have a particular dance that we do and a particular dynamic. And if any one of us changes up the dance, if I change up the way in which I engage with the two of you, both of you are going to say, Heidi, are you okay? What's going on? Why are you so quiet? What's happening over there? And you'll react to it. You're going to wonder what's happening. You're not just going to flow with it instantly. You're going to question it. You're going to be uncomfortable with the change that I have instituted within myself, and thereby creating a ripple effect where you both are affected by it. And then everybody kind of alters their dance.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. It's that thing
Ronnie, does it make sense to you? Because your face looks a little sorry. Nelsie, go ahead.
No. It makes sense.
I think he's thinking
Nelsie,
about kittens.
He's in his head going.
But I think that whole idea, like you're using the dance metaphor, which I like, as you know, but I also think the tennis metaphor is good too, because if somebody lobs a ball over and you don't hit it back, if somebody sort of baits you or teases you or says something shitty, and normally what you normally do is saying something even shittier back,
or get really defensive and are explaining yourself and I'm sorry,
it just changes the dynamic. If you don't hit the ball back over the net, then they've got nothing to lob at you. It's so interesting because the second thing on my list to talk about today is what does taking care of yourself look like in relationship to creating boundaries? Like what? So it's just interesting that we're talking about boundaries and we're talking about toxic relationships, because why is it that it feels so hard sometimes for me just to do something that's taking care of myself, creating a boundary? Like not like I'm good at this. Could someone sometime ever put a condiment away? Like I'm really good at that. Like being
that
in
condiment
the kitchen
thing really makes you upset.
I can be in the kitchen by myself, slamming things around. But can I just go up to someone and go, "You need to leave the kitchen like you found it"?
Whoa. Holy shit.
Right? I can't do that. It feels
Have you said to
mean.
the family, I am exhausted talking about the condiments on my podcast. I am wondering. How about this?
Yeah.
I feel disrespected, not considered, and frustrated because I have a need for
Order.
community, order, cleanliness. And I wonder if it would be possible when anyone uses the kitchen, if they could leave it the way they found it. Doug?
Malcolm.
Anyone, Doug? Anyone, Malcolm?
We live in a society.
Damn it.
I mean, have you said that?
Yes. Yes.
So then the next thing you do, your other option, because we like Eckhart Tolle, if you're in a situation you do not like, change the situation. If you cannot change it, leave it or accept it. All else is madness. Then I would suggest you stop buying condiments.
So obvious. So
Changing
obvious.
the
And
situation. Or I've got a better one. You buy a mini fridge that you tuck away somewhere that nobody else can find. You put all the condiments in there so when you need them, you can go get them and put them back.
And if they want one, they have to go through you, and you have to like they have to earn it. You know?
And they'll
It's
get
like
only
prison.
so many. They get like condiment chits, like only so many a
Yeah.
week, and they get
You get 2 mustard packets.
Show me that you can put it away. Show me that you can put it away.
You want sriracha?
Okay.
Everybody wants sriracha, right? It all roads lead back to Eckhart Tolle, it seems. But
Why do you
it
say
is that
Tolle?
thing-
Do you know that that's how he says his name?
I have no fucking idea. Every time I say it, I'm pretty sure I'm saying it wrong.
I think it's just Tolle. Eckhart Tolle.
Eckhart Tolle.
Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart Tolle.
I love that Eckhart Tolle.
Eckhart Tolle.
He's a wise guy.
Eckhart
He's
Tolle.
a wise
Now I
man.
can't say it. Now I can't say it myself.
I
Forget
have
it.
conversations with my dad, and he has an opinion about them, like my life decisions or like career choices, and he has an opinion that is not exactly supportive. But like as I've gotten older, like I've just realized that like
So it's not perfect.
yeah, it's that, and also like he's just a person with an opinion, and that shouldn't affect me that much. You know what I mean? Like I'm not even bitter when he has like I want to do something for myself career wise, and then I'm on the phone telling him about it, and he's like telling me that I don't know about that or whatever, right? But I just see it as he's just having an opinion because in his intention is to care for me, like look out for me, right? And he's just a guy. He's just a person having an opinion. It shouldn't be something that I have to start trouble with him because I understand why he's thinking that. All right, fair enough. But where he's not like ostracizing me from the family or anything,
Right.
He's
But I
giving me
think
his
the
thoughts.
thing is, what's kind of cool, what I'm getting from that, and I could be wrong, is that because you have a good relationship with him, you don't take it personally, or you don't feel like you're being criticized, and you don't have a different expectation too. It's not you're not waiting for him to go, "That's right, Ronnie, good job. I'm behind you. That's a great idea." So you're not disappointed. You're just like,
because I feel like if you head in that direction, that's the wrong direction. Like if I'm doing this not for myself and for my dad or whoever it is, right? Your mom, your dad, your girlfriend, whatever.
yeah.
Then I feel like that's not the route you should be taking.
How did you figure that out?
Well, he just kept not liking the decisions I was making, and through like that experience, I realized, oh no, he wants me to take the safer routes. That's what it is. And I get that. As a parent, that makes total sense. Like I totally get that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you as a person, you don't take the safe routes. You take the risks, right? Because you want to take the risks. And so through time, it was like, my dad's being my dad, and I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm not supposed to expect anything from it. Like if he doesn't, there's some people I know that because they don't get the approval from their parents, they feel like they can't do something, or they expect support because they need it to move on, to move forward with that decision. That doesn't make sense to me. Like you should just be doing things on your own anyway.
So do you think that you are someone who, on a spiritual level, has just arrived here a little bit wiser, a little bit already experienced in this? So it didn't take much for you to get from your dad or from in your station in life. I know stations in life, well, that's not the word I want to use, but
point in life.
No,
like
just
chapter.
No, just no.
We're just going to
No,
keep
that's
tossing nouns out there.
Nah.
I'm saying that you are right? It isn't personal. It's about your dad wanting you to be safe and make safe choices where you are protected and successful in whatever way that is, but that you're just solid and good. And your recognition that it's not about you, that's just your dad as a parent wanting what he wants, is something that takes people 50 years to learn.
Yeah, and some people never get to it. And I mean,
some people never get to it.
And the fact that Ronnie's like, well, I realized he's just a guy with an opinion. To be able to look at your parent and go, what?
To separate. You're right. I'm laughing because it's hilarious, right? Nobody does that.
You're right.
It is.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
well done, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Good on you for having that awareness.
Because
it'll save you.
Going back to the whole toxic and siblings and all that, some shit happened between in my family with me. Actually, something happened with my brother where he sort of fell off his pedestal, like I had big brother, middle brother, and I'm the baby. And he did something that I judged furiously, and felt so like on some weird level, I felt like betrayed because I saw him in this way, and I had deified him because he was my big brother. When I was born, he was 4. So he was like this big thing. And it took me a really long time to go, he's just a human making his way on the planet,
Yeah.
and he's my brother. So the fact that you've done that, Ronnie, now, and you're 25 with your dad is pretty impressive.
Well, it also makes me empathize for parents. Like if he's just a guy
show off.
No, I'm just saying.
Exactly.
I'm just saying. Like I mentioned this before, right? Like if he's just a guy with an opinion, he's just a guy who, has a wife and kids. You know what I mean? Like he's just a guy, he's just, it's not like, because when you grow up, you see that you place roles and you have expectations for these people around you, your brother, your sister, your parents are these big things that know everything. They know all, right?
Yeah.
Then you get older, you realize, like, especially now, like when my parents had me when I was 27, when they were 27, Wait. Sorry.
Wow.
27,
that
right?
must have been a tough birth for your mom. Wow.
Right. And that's 2 years away from me now. So
yeah.
I can't imagine having a kid in 2 years. And so I empathize with that. Like, he had to learn that,
Yeah.
He had to learn it as I was born and I grew up, and it's crazy. So probably not going to have kids.
Serious?
That's so funny. I was thinking you'd be a great dad.
Oh, no, I know too much now.
Yeah, but it's good. That's the beauty of it, right? That you'll guide them.
When you were talking earlier and you said, I get it because he's a parent and he wants me to take the safe choice. And I was thinking how both Heidi and I are kind of the opposite of that. We're both kind of like, my son's like, I'm like, yeah, move to New York. That sounds great. Or, play soccer in Australia. And, like I much more am like when Raina couldn't decide whether to work in New York and LA seemed like the right choice. But, going so far from home, I was like, go to fucking LA, have an adventure. So it's interesting, right? Then and I don't know. I don't think it's generational, meaning like, oh, I'm a baby boomer and I don't know what she is, but it's interesting because I don't
know what it is. Maybe it might be like security in generation. Like sometimes, like my dad grew up poor, so for me, he wants security. Like that's all he cares about, right? And I don't, and the path that I take doesn't necessarily have that, all the time. Like I dropped out of college, right? So, and that's my decision to not go back and drop out. I made those decisions. I did that,
Good job.
Good job, Ronnie.
Thank you.
Good job.
And that's not what he wanted, right? But shit happens, man. Yeah.
We're back to shit happens.
You didn't go back, right?
No, I didn't go back.
And now look at you.
Yeah.
Living the life in the Philippines. Surrounded by cats.
Honestly,
dogs and birds.
I swear, if I went back to college, I would have just been in the same place 4 years later. Just because I took a major in film. You
don't know that.
Every production job I got, they never asked me for my degree.
I am not suggesting that you need a college degree, but I also am suggesting that none of us can say if I had done that, it wouldn't have made a difference in
true.
XYZ. We have no idea.
I mean, there's no
who you could have met, what could have happened. Anything's possible. Listen, as long as you're happy with the choice you made, that's all that matters.
Or okay with it.
Or let's lower the bar a little bit.
Okay.
Happy, I mean,
happy, strong word.
Devastated. As long as you're not devastated by the choices you've made.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that bar is very low.
Very low.
Hey, Nelsie, when you were talking about self-care in light of in a toxic family situation, and I was thinking about the pandemic and how, and you had said something about it, self-care with respect to making choices that are better for you, whatever those may be. And it's different now than it used to be. So it used to be possibly, I need to go out and relax and be with my friends, or go to a show, or go do something that is...
Go take a Zumba class.
Entertaining.
Yeah.
Take a what?
Zumba class.
Take a Zumba class. And now the idea of going away or making plans, even going to dinner, making a reservation, just seem like work. Seems like work. And it, in a way that an expansion of energy, it's as if since the pandemic started, I've settled into, and I hear this a lot, I've settled into not having any plans, not doing anything. And so then it's suddenly we're allowed to make plans, and I notice that it takes me so long to pull the trigger to make a flight. It takes me so long the idea of making a reservation or doing research, I don't care. But I also noticed that I went out to eat the other night. I've lost the other part of my overall. I went out to eat the other night, and the food was so delicious, and I realized how complacent I've gotten around eating at home that I don't have it. I get basically zero joy out of eating the food that I've been eating for the last year, and have settled into, well, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to get joy from that. And people who get joy from food, or that's them. That's their story.
It's like a food pill. It's just the thing that you take. My husband, if it weren't for Doug, I would never leave the house. I mean, I would walk the dog. And in fact, I got an invitation, a really good invitation, to go see Sheryl Crow in concert at the Beacon, which is a small venue in New York City, to go with my best friend and go have dinner beforehand. And I just feel like it's such a chore, and I'm kind of mad at her that she asked me. It's like, really? Come on. Because I can't say no, because I don't want to miss out on it, but I feel like it's going to be so much of an effort.
You know what the thing is, though, in this case? It's all been organized already. All you have to do is get there. And this is why I'm suggesting you drive.
Yeah.
Actually, because all you have to do is get in the car and go from point A to point B versus one mode of transportation to the next to the next.
Right.
Don't make it more complicated. Keep it simple.
Right. Because if I go to the bus, then I have to go drive to the bus stop, get there on time, get in the bus, go to Port Authority, get in it. Right. Okay. I don't have to walk everybody through it. Okay.
Nobody
that does feel better. That feels better. And you know what?
Yeah, plus Sheryl Crow is like so good.
I love how he just called her Shero.
Cheryl
Crow.
Crow.
Cheryl is amazing.
What's your favorite
love
song?
Cheryl.
What's your favorite song of Cheryl's, Ronnie?
I had so many. I can't even off the top of my head. I don't even know. Yeah, but you know them, so you should go and see them.
See them.
Yeah, see those songs. That
Yeah.
she
See all
sings.
those songs.
All right, so I'm gonna do it. I got new boots. They're really cute. I wear my new boots.
Wow,
go out
that
to
was
dinner.
quick turnaround. Went from
Well, I have to say,
I can't. All right, I'm going to drive and wear my new boots.
well, but I have to say that because I had talked myself out of driving because it's tolls and the Lincoln Tunnel and finding a place to park and
An Uber would be too expensive, wouldn't it?
Uber would be $150.
Yeah.
Just get in the car, put on a podcast. I'm like, what if
Make
nothing's wrong?
the car trip part of it. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. You have your own time, get to hang out in the car, take a nice drive.
All right. Okay.
Give yourself time so you're not stressed about it. Get to New York early. You haven't been to the city in 100 years.
I haven't been to the city in 100 years. Last time I went, it was the 1920s and it was flappers. And
It's so different now.
A lot of jazz.
Yeah.
So
A lot of jazz. Yeah.
They have bikes now.
Yeah.
Bike lanes.
I met
lots
up
of
with
bike
F. Scott
lanes.
Fitzgerald. It was so much fun. But yeah. So, okay. All right.
Hashtag taking it too far.
So did you guys see that video about you want to take that, Nelsie? You want to do
Yeah.
that? You want to?
So did you Oh my God. Did you guys see? So I went to what's trending on Twitter because that's what I do because I'm that kind of gal. And it's the guy, remember Blue's Clues?
You're
Ronnie,
never
did
on
you grow up
Twitter.
with Blue's Clues?
I did. I grew up watching Blue's Clues as a kid.
My kids grew up with Blue's Clues. And I have to say, I liked the guy. Well, he's like trending on Twitter.
Steve from Blue's Clues from, whatever decades ago. Yeah, they put out a video with him like coming back to talk to the audience, which the audience is mostly like my generation. So we're all growing up. And here's a little bit.
Debatable.
A little bit.
You remember how when we were younger, we used to run around and hang out with Blue and find clues and talk to Mr. Salt, freak out about the mail and do all the fun stuff. And then one day I was like, oh, hey, guess what? Big news. I'm leaving. This is my brother Joe. He's your new best friend. And then I got on a bus and I left. And we didn't see each other for like a really long time. Can we just talk about that? Great. Because I realized that was kind of abrupt. I just kind of got up and went to college. And that was really challenging, by the way, but great because I got to use my mind and take a step at a time. And now I literally am doing many of the things that I wanted to do. And then look at you and look at all you have done and all you have accomplished in all that time. And it's just so amazing, right? I mean, we started out with clues and now it's what? Student loans and jobs and families. And some of it has been kind of hard, you know? I know you know. And I wanted to tell you that I really couldn't have done all of that without your help. And in fact, all the help that you helped me with when we were younger is still helping me today, right now. And that's super cool. I guess I just wanted to say that after all these years, I never forgot you, ever. And I'm super glad we're still friends. Thanks for listening. You look great, by the way. Whatever it is you're doing, it's working.
I have tears in my eyes. I'm so embarrassed to admit that I have tears in my eyes. I mean, I thought that was so sweet.
It was so sweet. I was waiting for something terrible to happen, or I don't know why. So that's interesting that he pieced out and his brother took over. And
well, what happened was that he left the show. The actual guy left the show, and they replaced him. And so the way they did it is that he was going off to college. They wrote in he was going off to college, right? So
Because he was supposed to be a kid.
Yeah. It was,
Okay.
He was like a kid, yeah, exactly, growing up with this dog, and they're finding Blue's Clues.
Blue's Clues. Blue's Clues. The dog's name was Blue.
That was the last time, and I remember that episode as a kid, watching that episode, the transition. It was crazy. Like, this guy's just gonna leave? You know what I mean?
Well, it's so funny because when I used to watch it, because I'd watch it because my kids were watching it,
Yeah.
I thought, this guy's really good at his job. Like, I thought that the actor doing that was doing a good job. He engaged really well, and he's breaking the fourth wall all the time. But I would say out loud all the time, because I was an ex-actor, like, what's going to happen? Like, he's really good at this, but how do you move on from that? Like, what's his next step? Like, it's not like this guy's going to suddenly get cast in something, because he's cast in stone as this guy. So it's so funny. So he's back, and why? Was that
Wait,
Nickelodeon?
this, by the way, is how I felt about Patrick Dempsey when he left Grey's Anatomy. What's going to happen? How is this possible? He does it so well.
So that guy left, and it was crazy. And that was the last time most of my generation saw that guy. So pandemic happens, us like millennials starting careers or going through careers, that like usually
yearning for this guy.
Well, the first 10 years of your career is like they say is the hardest, right? Because you're still figuring it out, or you're starting late, or whatever it is, right? And especially now during pandemic, there's a lot of talk about mental health these days. It's the 25th anniversary of Blue's Clues. Nickelodeon, Nick Jr. didn't have to do anything, but they did this to help a lot of our generation, to let us know that it's okay, to bring us back to a simpler time, right? That was the intention of the video.
Interesting.
Did not need to do that at all. You know what I mean?
So they did it because they were worried about the millennials, and this guy was going to make them feel better?
That was the reaction from everybody. Like, everyone I know got that reaction. Like, everyone was so happy that this happened.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, that's very sweet.
That's nice.
Yeah, and it did. It's like it didn't need to happen. It didn't need to be done, but it kind of did. Yeah.
Well, and I will say that part of the reason it did that is that his engagement, and this is why it was so good on the show, is so genuine. Whether he's just a good actor or he really feels it, I thought it was extremely sweet.
See, the crazy is that when he left the show, he did a bunch of stuff. Apparently, like, he did a bunch of stuff. Like, he started a band, he did like other things, and his going to college and trying new things out was technically true. So to see him now older, like, with no hair and, aged, it's kind of like you see time has passed and you look at yourself, you're older, but it's like bringing you back to that time that was a lot simpler for us.
Yeah.
And then reminding ourselves that this is all normal and it's okay to get some pressure off us.
Yeah. Yeah. That's sweet. And you're doing great. And by the way, you look great. You look great. I thought it was very sweet, and I liked him. And you said have no hair, and you only know he has no hair because he's wearing a hat.
No, I know.
We don't know what's under that hat.
I was thinking that too. I was thinking, wasn't he wearing a hat? How does he know he doesn't have any hair?
Why was he wearing a hat?
I know. I looked it up. That's why I asked. I was like, okay, he didn't wear a hat before.
Wasn't he wearing a hat? Oh, he didn't? I was going to say, wasn't he wearing a hat in the...
That was an addition, so I was like...
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Maybe because he's cool like that now.
Yeah, cool people wear hats.
See, you're wearing a hat. I almost wore a hat today. Nelsie?
Almost.
Yeah, I don't do hats. Hat at the beach. Hat at the beach.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
That's all my friends right now online.
Thanks,
all
Steve.
Your friends.
They're all saying thanks to Steve and Blue's Clues. Yeah.
That's so funny.
So, guys, thanks for listening or watching.
I think Ronnie got the cat to substitute for Steve.
You can follow us on all socials at WNIW Pod. You can comment, DM us at Instagram or below if you're watching us on YouTube. Rate, review, and subscribe. And Heidi does AMA every week on Twitter at Heidi L. Haddad or Head and Heart Therapy. And if you ask a question, it might end up on the podcast if you tweet her a question. That's it.
Thank you for being
When
a
you're
friend.
out to cock, father doesn't
Fucking theme song.
recognize you.
Oh, is that?
Find your
Can't use that.
joy. When you're spooning with a stranger and they won't let you kiss them, find your joy. When your house reeks of weed and your kids hallucinating, find your joy. Find your joy. When you stick your dick and skippy, when your dog likes Jiffy, find your joy.
You've been listening to the What If Nothing's Wrong podcast with Heidi Haddad, LCSW, Nelsie Spencer, that's me, and Ronnie Whaley. Tweet us and join Heidi's weekly AMAs on Twitter at Heidi L. Haddad, or tweet the What If Nothing's Wrong podcast at WINW Pod. That's at WINW Pod on Twitter. You can also email us at whatifnothingswrong@gmail.com. The What If Nothing's Wrong podcast is produced and edited by the amazing Ronnie Whaley.